check it. Bob Marley lives in Amsterdam. I seen him while riding on the number 4 tram. In the window, still puffin' endo. In the middle where men go. For lust and you can trust when the wind blows. Bob Marley lives in Amsterdam. I seen him while riding on the number 4 tram. In the window, still puffin' endo. In the middle where men go. For lust and you can trust when the wind blows. You'll be sedated, invaded by the inhaler. The choice of a man with a prophetic voice. Some hear it and heed, the greedy fear it indeed. But most just smoke the tree and never plant the seed of understanding and compassion. Mr. Marley was asking to curtail harassment of cats with black skin of African origin, extended to more men. Wherever there's oppression of a people's, it's for them. But impressions printed on flags and posters deflect the vital message that the wise ones spoke of over one cup of save our people. Who's gonna save our people? Yeah, that's what I wanna know. Save our people. Who's looking out for us? Save our people. Should be. You know what I'm talking about? Save our people. Save our people. Act like it. Yeah. Save our people. So you know. Save our people. I got a question. Who's gonna save our people? From what? From a world filled with evil. Or what? Where the browner you are, the browner you are, the deeper your scar. Denied access to all resources. Okay. Controlled by government forces. Right. Everybody. Politicians bailed out the rich like the poor ain't shit. Man, ain't that a bitch? Who's gonna save our people? Who's gonna save us, y'all? Descendants of enslaved Africans. Talking about. They wanna act like it's ancient history. But my mama and the root of our challenges are a mystery. Deal with the whites on the side. But it can never be said enough. No. The niggas in America got it rough. Everybody got opinions, caught up in the vision of the devil and his minions. Is a motherfucker, y'all. Save our people. Why don't you come on in here now? Save on our people. Take a seat. We've come a long way, you know. We have. And with so far to go. The road is rough. A black man in the White House is a gray matter, and it don't need looking out. Tell the truth, nigga. So we gotta stay vigilant. No matter who's in, don't be complacent and ignorant. Nah, don't be ignorant and naive. Save our people. Yeah. What? Save our people. We've been around for a long time. Since the beginning, y'all. And been through a lot on the grind. Wish we had more supporters from other cultures to handle these vultures. Some of y'all need to listen and learn. Implementing the global agenda. Every time we surrender, family we injure. Man, yeah. Who's gonna save our people? Amongst you. The natives are restless. Well, stand up. Surviving under duress. It leaves a community breathless. Rather, y'all. We used to get on our knees and pray to Jah. Now we pray on each other and hunt for jobs. From the spiritual to material, indigenous to imperial. Clearly, yo. We need to save our people. You need to save our people. Save our people. I need to save our people. Save our people. Who's gonna save our people? Save our people. Won't you please save our people?
Ladies and gentlemen, kids of all ages, to the healers, the the hope dealers. We got here a show enough thriller.
Okay? I like that.
First of all, I want to say happy anniversary to hip hop, baby. Curtis Blow with the go-go. Do you know?
You know. You know.
Yeah. Where was you at when you heard White Lines for the first time, y'all? Hey, check it out. I want to welcome everybody to the People's Dinner Party.
Yeah.
Where we celebrate real life, real people. We got artists, we got revolutionaries, you know, people of all walks of life. But today, I have a real treat. I get to go home for a little while. And for those who don't know,
that's right.
I'm a Washington, D.C. dude for real. I ain't no DMV dude. I'm a D.C. dude.
Chocolate City.
I ain't from Maryland. I ain't from Baltimore. I ain't from Virginia. I'm from the soil where we wear New Balance. You know what I'm saying? Eat chicken wings and mumbo sauce. You dig? And Rock Creek grape. You heard me? Yeah. Come from the soil. But today, the People's Dinner Party want to celebrate our version of the 50th anniversary of hip hop by taking it back home to one of the pioneers of hip hop. To me, he was Wale before Wale.
Oh man. Oh,
okay,
man.
He was Wale before Wale. Because if you listen to his tone, he sound like a front man for a go-go band. If you listen to his tone, and he rap, can rap the stripes off a zebra. You heard me? Rap the stripes off a zebra. I put him up against anybody. I push all my chips in the middle of the table.
Oh man, go ahead.
You heard me? Yeah. Yeah. All y'all Bammers out there. Step up. Step your game up. Step your game up.
Go ahead, man.
Hey, man, my friend, my brother, he's watched me grow as a man. He's seen me do some silly shit, but he's seen me do some pretty good shit as well.
Absolutely.
And he always seemed to be there at least a couple of different stages of my life. But hey, let me introduce my brother, the incomparable, the invincible, Head-Roc, the mayor of Washington, the hip-hop mayor of Washington, D.C., y'all. Come on in, baby. Come on in. What's happening, brother?
What's going on? What's going on with your Suncere?
Man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for such a dynamic intro. I want to edit that. They used to refer to me as the mayor of DC hip hop, but now these days I'm the pariah of DC hip hop now, brother. So
but you know what?
That's from my revolutionary activities, you know.
You know what? You the mayor of the People's Dinner Party. Okay.
Hey, I'll take that. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
You a citizen, okay? You were you a citizen, okay? With all the benefits, all right?
Yes,
if they don't want you, I want you.
Thank you,
bad for them.
And that's where I hang out at. I go where I'm wanted. That's where I go, brother. So I appreciate that. So thank you and I know I can go there. So thank you very much.
Yeah, man. So
and likewise for you.
I got a story. Now we got to get the brother. He stay on the move. You know, he been on the move for quite some time. You know, he always busy. So, you know, I'm really blessed today to have him. Always been real with me too. Now, very few people back home that that little circle I used to be in, as real as his brother. He done kept up with me. Okay. Now, I got a story I want to tell that includes a mutual, well, I like to consider him as a friend. That can, you know, that include a mutual friend of ours. And that's this brother named 1-2.
My man.
And that's where it all started. Now, I went over and look, my girl was living out in Maryland and I went to go by, right? And so she, you know, she's smoking good. And I'm like, yo, so what, you know, what's the haps? She said, well, you know, I got a friend, you know, so I'm like, I know my girl. I know my girl wild. I ain't gonna lie. I know my girl wild, right? So I go knock on this dude's door. You know, I knock on the door. I'm kind of like heated because I felt like this dude done hit my girl.
Oh man, you tell us some stories, Suncere.
Hey. So he opened the door and he invited me in. You know, so we sit down. I mean, he got the whole apartment like Erykah Badu lived in that junk, man.
Okay.
The vibe in that joint was so nice. The music, everything was so nice. Brother sat down and, you know, we man, yeah. You know, only DC people know what man, yeah. We man, yeah. And, man, I forgot all about the incident. He was such a wonderful, beautiful brother. I can see, I was like, damn, I can kind of, if he did, I can see, you know, her father.
You crazy, man.
Hell, you know. So, yeah, it was this brother 1-2, man. I love him. I never forgot him in the spirit. You know, because sometimes when you're maturing as and trying to be a better man, and you don't have like family, you know, you pull from different people on how to be a man and how to develop yourself. And when I saw him, you know, and was around him, he definitely helped me, you know, my development as a man. You know, I took a little piece of him too. I was even, don't tell him, but I was even thinking about changing my name before I became Suncere, the 1-2. That's the impression he had on me. But check it out. Yeah, he done took my girl, took my name and everything, you know.
Crazy, man. You crazy. Yeah, that's a great brother. Great brother. I was hanging out with 1-2 this past Friday. He came over to an event that I co-produced for a local citywide event called Art All Night at the 14th Street Graffiti Museum. He showed up, him and you know Theory too?
Man, it's been so long, bro.
You know, Theory is a founding member of the Infinite Loop. So him and Theory both came through. So it was good. It was good to see those brothers. But yeah, 1-2 is a hell of a role model. You know, he raised people, raised his kids. You know, take care of his family. He's a excellent brother.
Right. So look, so he invited me actually to one of my first live hip hop shows.
Okay.
And yeah, so I went, I forgot where it was located. I think it might have been on 14th Street or something. It was some club. And he was a part of this group called Unspoken Herd. Okay. Back then, I was famous for wearing these real colorful shirts.
You talking about 1-2's group? His 1-2's group was Urban Dialect back in the day. I think that's what you're talking about. Unspoken Herd.
Urban Dialect, but you was on the stage too.
I might have been on the stage, but he was. I ain't exactly sure when you're talking about, but his groups is called Urban Dialect.
That was Urban Dialect, not Unspoken Herd.
And then Organic Symmetry is another group that he was a part of as well. And then our crew is called Infinite Loop.
Okay.
So, but back in the day, Urban Dialect was their first name. Him and Face rocking together, and I met them. Sometimes I would back them up on stage as well.
Okay. Now, when you say Face, are you talking about the poet Face? You ain't talking about the poet Face. Okay.
No, I'm talking about the original. In my book, I'm talking about the original Face. So the original Face I know is from my crew, Infinite Loop.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, apparently I don't know which group I was watching, but I know
that's all right. You know
the
group. You know the group. The name. It's been 30 years, man. So the names, you know, switch up. But yeah, it's all right. You got grace on that.
Right on. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Come on, man. Let me tell you something, bro. I get names mixed up all the time. So I say I'm old. Grace on that. I ask your grace on that. Keep it moving.
All right. So look, 1-2 invited me out to a show, a hip hop show. I went out, and I used to wear these colorful shirts, with all these like weird patterns and all this type of thing, you know.
Okay.
And it was a packed show, but for some reason, people was under the impression that I was from like some type of like record company or something like that. because they was just like watching me, every move that I made, you know, and dudes was busting freestyles in front of me and stuff, you know. I was like, damn, they think I'm Barry Gordy up in this joint or something, you know.
Okay.
But the show that I saw, now I may not know the name, but the energy that crew, and it's the first time I saw you perform on stage too.
Okay.
It was kind of like Wu-Tang, a little, and I know y'all heard this 1,000 times. It was kind of like Wu-Tang to me and Leaders of the New School. Y'all had that Leaders of the New School energy. And the way the thing was choreographed, through the songs, how everybody was like, you know, came together on stage. Man, y'all lit it up. Y'all lit it up.
Thank you, bro.
Y'all lit it up. And it made such a crazy impression on me, man.
Thank you, brother.
So fast forward, maybe about 2 years later, I had an opportunity to open a cafe with this sister, Jasmine Brown, called the Mama Nas Cafe.
Shout out to Cafe Nas.
Right on.
Iconic restaurant, gathering spot, iconic. Cafe Mama Nas set the stage for a lot of stuff.
I would like to think, and I could be reaching, but I would like to think we were the precursor to Bus Boys and Poets.
Oh man, please, they bit the model. We already know real revolutionaries. You know, we tell the truth and shame the devil. They bit the model. I remember that. I remember that phase.
Right on.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
The Mama Nas became a.
He should have. That guy Andy Shalard, what he should have done was invested in Cafe Mama Nas. That's what he should have did. If we was doing things like we supposed to be doing, working with each other as progressive people of culture. But you know, we'll talk about that some other time.
No doubt. So the Mama Nas was like, it was my intention was to make it a revolutionary cafe where we had, you know,
it absolutely
we had conscious hip hop, conscious poetry.
Yeah.
We had a 7 days a week children's free breakfast program, the Marsha Eddie Conway children's free breakfast program. The community, I had a sign-in sheet where you would sign in your email and telephone number. Right. And if there was any type of event jumping off, you were notified. So we keep the place packed.
That's right.
But Hetty and I, that's what we like really developed our relationship, was in that cafe. I seen him a lot. He was so real. Hey man, I was working like 110 hours a week. Yep. I needed all the friends and love and hugs and support that I could get. And you definitely was one of those people. Also, to all the ladies in the house, Urban Ave 31 used to hang out there quite frequently too.
Absolutely, man. Everybody in the scene used to be over there. Have I go over there that had meetings and everything over there, brother.
No doubt.
It was groundbreaking. It was an organization hub, a hub for organizing.
Right on. And for y'all ladies, if y'all don't know, Urban Ave 31 is the group that Raheem Devon was a part of before he signed on to Sony.
Yeah.
You know, but look, I want to flip this thing and let's talk about you. One of the things I brag about you all the time and often, over a span of something maybe like 20-something years at least.
Man.
Okay. And the thing and correct me if I'm wrong, you know, because like you said, it's been 30 years.
Yes, bro.
But the thing that I brag when I play your music, okay, one, when I was in New Orleans doing the Katrina thing.
Yes, brother.
You was my soundtrack. You helped, and I was losing my damn mind down there. 1,400 miles a week I'm driving, setting up distribution camps, you know, hurricane distribution camps. And the soundtrack, when I used to ride by myself in them lonely racist streets with no electricity and sometimes no signal for a phone, I had Hetty playing. I had Negrophobia playing, bumping on a regular basis. It kept me grounded. I ain't even gonna hold you on that. It kept me grounded, for one. And yeah.
Hey, much love, brother. I remember you talking to me about that too. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember you jumping up. I remember you jumping up and going to New Orleans at the Katrina when the feds was dragging their feet.
Right.
You know. Mm-hmm.
No doubt. But look, Hetty, man, look, for those who may not know who you are, let them know, brother. Come on in. Let them know.
Oh man, man. What am I? I'm a brother who hustles black love for a living, brother. That's what I do. And I work to move America forward. And you know, I do so in my capacity as an artist, you know, the organizer, advocate, activist. You know, as an artist, because I believe that with the way the world is set up, that art, human expression has the best chance to mitigate a lot of the harm that's been done, you know, on the planet by people who believe themselves to be supreme, you know, over all of us and nature and so to that effect, I'm known as Head-Roc, HEAD-ROC, hip hop MC producer. I own a company called Chocolate City Rocks. We do multimedia event production, programming, entertainment consulting. Consulting. Got a little talent agency as well. You know, people reach out to me when they looking for talent. Because of my tenure, you know, I'm 30 plus years involved and active in DMV entertainment scene.
Right.
I have a clothing line called Black Rockstar Superhero. I'm rocking that
right
today.
on. I gotta get mine.
Which is a homage to Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass, my two favorite popularly known figures in American history. And you know, the reason why is because, you know, we all know what they did. But what really captured me is that they did their work and that they lived their natural lives. I found that fascinating. That two individuals doing what they did in this country up against the odds that they were up against, you know, being part of a whole community of folks who did that too. They were hunted, they were conspired against, and somehow these two lived their natural lives. They weren't assassinated. You know, it's very significant to me. And because doing the work of moving America forward is perilous work.
Right.
It's you know, it's dangerous work, and a lot of people lose their lives, lose their livelihoods, you know, lose their families, lose their friends doing this kind of work. I have, you know, I've incurred some losses, you know, as I endeavor to employ my art to affect other you know, citizens, to bring about change in this country.
Right.
So so when I look up, you know, a lot of people, you know, icons are, you know, Malcolm X and, you know, King, and as they are mine as well. But one thing that distinguishes them apart from Sister Harriet and Brother Fred is that they live their natural lives. You know, they survived assassination attempts. So I pondered it, like, why is that the case? And these words came to me. They're Black rock star superheroes is what they are.
That's
so
right.
that's how I describe them. And those words came to me, and I have an album called the Black Rockstar Superhero Street Tape, dedicated to that. There is a song called Black Rockstar Superhero. It's a theme song, you know, to this shirt. So if you Google Black Rockstar Superhero, make sure you you know, investigate and enjoy, you know, some of the offerings, you know, that are there. So yeah, fam, that's what I do, and I do other things as well as I hustle black love. Whatever I do, I'm hustling black love for a living. That's front and center of what I do. So another role that I have is that I'm the education director for an organization called the Washington Area Lawyers for the Arts, which is a partnership of attorneys and artists who serve the creative needs of artists, entrepreneurs, and creatives in the DC metro area. WALA is the acronym, Washington Area Lawyers for the Arts. We call it WALA. It's actually part of a network of volunteer lawyers for the arts. So pretty much in every state, there is a volunteer lawyers for the arts organization. They call it VLA. So WALA is the DC one. They have a New York one. They have a California, Pennsylvania. Yep. I'm sure they have one in Ohio as well. But I've been on board with them since 2010. I'm also the arts ambassador for them as well. So, in addition to setting up the education schedule for WALA year to year, I also represent the organization as a brand ambassador, letting other artists in the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia know about the organization and the services that WALA provides, that can educate them and help us to live sustainable lives in pursuit of our artistic passions, AKA make some money being an artist, because and that role, I definitely relish that role because in my opinion, the arts is the most preyed upon labor force in America, hands down. Everyone is in the pot. Everyone is always trying to get artists to do things for free, all the time. And unfortunately, a huge percentage of the time, we do that. So with what WALA offers, there's education that comes about it, where you know how business is done. And since then, that's how I've been running. So yeah, fam, that's what I do. That's who I am.
Check it out. Now you mentioned Frederick Douglass.
Yes, brother.
Is his granddaughter still hanging around DC?
Yeah. Yep. She's still around. I know you're talking about. You referring? Yep. Sister Milani, who you're referring to.
Milani.
I don't know if she's his granddaughter or not, but yeah. Yep. Relative.
For real? Okay.
He's still around.
That was the talk around the water cooler.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that was the talk about around the water cooler. That was his great granddaughter.
Whatever the case, she definitely is her own person, and her impact in the DMV arts and culture scene is measurable. You know what I mean? Well, immeasurable, I should say, is the word I'm looking for. So yeah, shout out to Sister Milani, good friend of mine. One of my I'll say one of my confidants even. She knows a lot about it.
Say word.
Yeah. Woo! Mayor for life, to the death, with every breath till there ain't none left. You couldn't walk a mile in the God's step. Mayor for life, to the death. Mayor for life, to the death, with every breath till there ain't none left. Despite the hate, persecution, and gossip, mayor for life, do it to death. He was born in the hatred of Mississippi, the birthplace of the phrase Black Power, simply coined by Stokely Carmichael in response on a SNCC march for civil rights. Life was harsh for little Africans. Since his mama knew it, she moved the family to Memphis, pursuing improvement. Wanted more for her kids than a rotten life picking cotton, which he did like a slave. Somehow it's forgotten. College graduate, civil rights advocate, impossible obstacles he had to battle with. They wouldn't let him to the white kids in Kansas going for his PhD, and neither would he in Tennessee. Through the misery, the brother was steadfast, doing what he could to make sure we weren't dead last. Regarded as outcasts, he organized us of the lower class to fight the power and stick it to their ass. Mayor for life, to the death, with every breath till there ain't none left. You couldn't walk 3 feet in the God's step. Mayor for life, to the death. Mayor for life, to the death. With every breath till there ain't none left. Through the hate, persecution, and God says, mayor for life, do it to death. Hey, he came to Chocolate City with a passion. On his own, we didn't have to beg or ask him. A non-violent general working for social justice. Marion didn't butt kiss. Facing down muskets, he helped open up SNCC in Chocolate City using boycott Mike Right against price hikes for a bus trip. In him we trusted with his black love encrusted judgment. Pan-African royalty, he proved his loyalty, acting locally to influence thinking globally. Fighting for civil rights, he was ahead of the tide, helping unemployed blacks by establishing pride. He even took a bullet while serving the public. It was black men who done it, but he didn't jump ship. He black loved it, overstood the circumstance. So when he asked could he be our mayor, we gave him the chance. Mayor for life, to the death. With every breath till there ain't none left. You couldn't walk 3 feet in the God step. Mayor for life, to the death. Mayor for life, to the death. With every breath till there ain't none left. Through the hate, persecution, and God says, mayor for life, do it to death. Now who ain't never suffered from a crack in they armor? Been victims of attacks who diminish they honor. Self-righteous opinions ignore the laws of karma. We all flawed in this life, word the Dalai Lama. The Fed said his offense was a crime, so they gave him prime time, trying to cage up his mind. Could've gave him a fine, but since they don't play kind, they declined. Sent him to jail where he went without crime. Had it been you or I, we'd have lost it. He didn't forfeit, he bossed it. Came home, was exalted by the same people he supported way back when dogs attacked him just because of their black skin. This African American is a legend, an icon, a hero who rose from zero. My knowledge of COINTELPRO lets me know, we owe much love to this badass Negro. Hey, mayor for life, to the death. With every breath till there ain't none left. You couldn't walk 1 inch in the God step. Mayor for life, to the death. Mayor for life, to the death. With every breath till there ain't none left. Through the hate, persecution, and God says, mayor for life, do it to death.
Right, welcome back to the People's Dinner Party, y'all, where we celebrate real life and real people. Today's guest, we got a special guest from DC, my homie, my brother, an agent of change, brother Hetty, aka Head-Roc, my man. A lot of people don't know that we kind of grew up in the same neighborhood.
Where you from? I thought you was from Ridge
Kennedy
Park.
Street. Kennedy Street.
You Kennedy Street?
KDY all day, baby.
I always associate you with because of 1 2. I don't know. I just associate you with Ridge Park. He from Ridge Park. But yeah, man, Kennedy Street, brother. That's where I'm from.
Yeah. That's why I went to Calvin Coolidge.
Okay.
And, I went to Coolidge for my high school years and for my my little corner boy years. Yeah, I was out there screwing up, you know, out there messing around, trying to figure things out, you know. But look, Hetty, man, one of the things that is really cool, I think about you, what I like to ask you, man, you know, when I was learning to be more politically aware, I mean, I was lightweight type. You was already there. You know what I'm saying? Talking about freeing Palestine, police brutality, women's rights, the whole nine. Man, where you get that acronym from? Where you get that from, bro? When did all that start for you, brother?
You know, man, you know, it's I had to say it was a gradual process, man, and I absolutely credit my involvement in the arts with getting me, you know, to a point where I'm recognized, you know, for my advocacy on a lot of, you know, progressive issues. Because like you said, we from the same neighborhood, so I didn't grow up like that. You know, I grew up all American, you know, with an all American mindset, a supremacist mindset. You know, we're number one.
Right.
You know, everything else is inferior. You know, the goals that I had were goals that were you know, system goals, you know,
Right.
helping the machine work. But it's
Right.
through my but I've always, and that while that is said, I've always expressed myself artistically, you know, at a level where it was recognized, you know, that I had the gift, you know, to be able to
Right.
do so.
Yeah.
And so after high school, before I left my parents' house, my first, you know, artistic showing was in drawing. I used to draw when I was young. I used to draw comic books and stuff like that. I used to make my
Yeah.
own comic books.
That's
I used to
something we
make
got
my
in
own
common.
comic books.
That's something we got in common.
In like elementary school, and visual arts was my first expression, is what I like to say.
Hey,
I also kind of I grew up in the church. I grew up in the church, A&B Zion Church, so I, you know, part of the choir and stuff like that. So, you know, singing. I used to, you know, I even at one point in time took clarinet lessons. So I've always been doing something.
No reason why I'm laughing.
Why?
I took them too. I took clarinet,
yeah,
and flute and flute.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, did that, never finished anything, but, you know, always dabbled in something. And then after high school, you know, after leaving the house, slash getting thrown out the house, it threw me, you know, you compliment, you talked about our friend 1-2, aka Dimensions. That's prominently how he goes by now. We calling him by his ancient name of 1-2 in hip hop.
Right.
But that's when I met 1-2, is when after high school, when I left the house slash got thrown out the house, is when I ran in to 1-2. And then other members of my crew, which is called Infinite Loop. Shout out to Infinite Loop, DC hip hop legends. And in hindsight, I realized what happened was, you being away from my family structure, my family unit in the streets, I was fortunate to run into other brothers who were roughly in the same predicament.
Right.
And I'm gonna give it more thought so I can really articulate it. But you know, when you get a group of youngins together, like right now, one of the things that's happening in society, definitely in the cities, like there are like packs of youngins running the street and just wilding out. You know, I got a friend who just got beat up by a bunch of youngins running the street. You know, society has evolved. The structures on society has evolved. I see, you know, society, the structures in our communities have been taken away by things like gentrification, you know, and social engineering, to separate our families, break our family units up.
So you were just talking about gentrification in the DC area. I was wondering if you could talk about your writing for the Huffington Post and other messages you can convey through journalism paired with your music. Like one example is you wrote an article about keeping DC Walmart free, and then you also had a song about keeping DC Walmart free.
Okay. Yeah, you know, as I was explaining my journey to my journey that takes me from, you know, being, you know, I phrase it as the all-American, you know, to, you know, what I am now, someone who works to move this country forward away from its foundation, which is as a, you know, a land of you know, founded on European supremacy, the genocide of the natives and the enslavement of the Africans. You know, that journey led me to a decision where being an artist in hip hop genre, hip hop culture, you know, what are going to be the foci of my artistic works, and you know, I could see the changes that were happening here in Chocolate City. People, Washington D.C. is Chocolate City, so I could see the changes that were happening here, and I wanted to, to be vocal about it. And so, the first iteration of vocalizing, was in my music naturally, as an artist, recorded works. That's where the Keep DC Walmart Free comes from. So, being involved in groups and organizations that were educating the public, about Walmart. I wrote a song about it, because part of the edutainment. Shout out to KRS-One, the entertainment and the education with the edutainment. So, but it wasn't just in music. I was approached, being outspoken. I was approached to write a column for the city paper called Head-Roc's Mouth. And so that's where what you're referencing, my journalistic works, if you will, my columns. Also with the Huffington Post, approached me as well, and offered me the opportunity to espouse on my take on the changes that were happening in the city in the early 2000s, early 2000s. So yeah, I and then I'll say with the journal, the columns, what I decided to do with that was apply the principle of think globally, act locally. These are local columns. I was doing things on a national scale and, addressing global issues and national issues, but with the opportunity to communicate with people in my region, primarily, then I dealt with regional issues. And that's when I really started drilling down on what was happening in our local arts economy. So there are some series of writings that I have that specifically address the dynamic between artists and clubs, and promoters. My stances, a lot of these venues and clubs and restaurants and cafes, a lot of them are predatory on artists, relying on artists to bring in customers, to patronize their venue while they are not paying the artist for that job, for that service. A common thing that's thought to be compensating is exposure. Artists do a lot of things for exposure. Exposure don't pay bills. I got a cell phone bill I need to pay. I got a water bill I need to pay. I got a gas bill, the mortgage I need to pay, groceries I need to pay. And these venue owners, they're getting their money. They don't do things for exposure. They're getting their money. And so, when you value someone's work, you compensate them in what is commonly used in the economy. We need money to pay for goods and things like that. So I wrote about those things in my columns, with those publications.
Yeah, right on. Thank you. And I saw you spoke about artists not getting paid too at a rally and in the DC area as well, about how artists are always creating content, but creating just like inspiring everything. Like you even broke down how the podium was created by an artist and the microphone in that rally. That was awesome.
That's right. Everything is art. Every single thing is art. Somebody made everything that we use, flat out. And so, one of the things I learned with the Washington area Lawyers for the Arts, what I came to clearly understand is that the name of the game, intellectual property, is the name of the game. What you create, to survive and live, you're doing one or two things. You're either working for someone to help them cash in on their intellectual property. That's what a job is. whatever that job is, or you're working to cash in on your own intellectual property. That's when you work for yourself. There's no in between. That's how we generate the funds that we need to live and survive. So understanding that, McDonald's, not to promote them, but McDonald's, they don't do nothing without getting paid. They don't. Mercedes-Benz, they don't make them cars without the idea of getting paid, for those cars. Anything, you name it, department stores, anything, you name it. So why are we as creatives out there doing that? We shouldn't be doing that. We should be endeavoring to be compensated, for our work.
Yeah, like I didn't wake up and have a bowl of exposure for breakfast. So yeah,
Exactly.
true.
Yeah, that's an empty belly right there.
But we're going into edutainment. You share a lot of knowledge in your music and history. Your songs, Chris Columbus and Police Origins, are like a masterclass. I was
Thank
wondering
you,
if you
fam.
could talk about, no, thank you. I was wondering if you could talk about the importance of educating through music and art and how you fuse those things so well.
So, like I said, I believe that the way the world is set up, it's to make things happen, you need resources. And so in order to compete, if you will, with those who have greater resources than I, as they work to impress upon society, how they want things to go, and I do the same. The things that I want to share, I put it in my music. I believe in art to have the power to neutralize, to level the playing field. The effect that music in particular, has on, human beings is, it's well known. You could turn the tide of battle with a song. Songs inspire. Songs, unlock potential. That's been since time immemorial. I don't know how to say that word, but that's how it is. That's how we affect one another. So I decided that was going to be the way that I go about distributing, the things that I learned. So I just tell folks, I share what I learned. I didn't, the Chris Columbus song, I'm not the first person to write about Chris Columbus, or tell you about Chris Columbus. But so in that song, I just shared what I learned. That's on my Negrophobia album, which is which is released in 2005. It's my second album, which is really a research album. I titled it Negrophobia. It's at the time when I it was at a time where I endeavored to know, why the world behaved the way it behaved towards Black people. Why are we so afraid of Black people? And so I researched that, and that album is what I came up with. So you got songs like Chris Columbus, Bob Marley's on that song as well. I have a song called Bernard Hopkins, on that album as well. I wrote a song about the Middle Passage, on that album, because my thing was like, what did we ever do to the world? That's how I looked at it, as opposed to what was done, to us in terms of descendants of Africans enslaved in the United States of America. So as I learned, I chose to share that, rhythmically, in rhythm and rhyme. And I'm thankful that I did it. Chris Columbus is probably the song I'm probably most known for around the world, for writing. And shout out to my man Heck Dolo, who was the producer of that record, that Chris Columbus record. Shout out to him. But yeah, that's the way to share information. How can I share information? And years years and years of being an accomplished, hip hop artist, I knew that I know how I am received, when I'm rocking in show. I enjoy success, as an artist. And so I said, well, let me go ahead and share this, as opposed to dealing with the standard fare, talking about how dope I am, and, other situational, songs about situations and stuff like that. So that's how I approached it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and you're right. Like songs are powerful, and songs are technology or like talismans. They can unlock different things. Just it's beautiful.
Absolutely.
I wanted to talk about your song Tarzan, and if you could talk about your relationship with Jared Ball, and then
Okay.
you had the Cop Watch education put into that track, which was amazing. And this was before Kaepernick was doing it with J. Cole and all them. It's just it's a beautiful thing to put into the music as well.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, Tarzan, that's on the Necrophobia album as well. Like I said, it reflects where I was in my journey at that time. Learning, learning true American history, and Jared Ball was we was real tight together on that. I had the fortune to meet Jared, and we hit it off as friends. And I learned so much, from Jared. My relationship with Jared, the way I explain it is, all the stuff that I was thinking, Jared articulated it. So whatever, so it got to a point where it was so in synergy that whatever Jared was talking about, I might not know where he was going with it, but whatever he was talking about, I knew I was on board with it. We think the exact same way. Like, I have these notions, and he had the research. Jared is a world-class researcher. I mean, his depth and breadth of knowledge, about history, world history, is in my opinion, second to none. I so value my time in close quarters with him, years ago, and we remain, friends today. And I'm happy to see the successes that he's having, on his platforms. I mix what I like, platforms out there. But oh man, I did a lot. I did a lot in that time with Jared. I have a band called Gotta See Us. I put together, and some of the songs out of Gotta See Us come from some experiences that I shared with Jared Ball. As we traveled around the country, we would do lecture and performance presentations. We started this thing called Capital Resistance, where the moniker was pick up a mic and battle the system. So he would do these, he's a professor, so he would do these presentations and have the LCD screen up and everything. He'd be lecturing, and then it comes to it segue into a song, a Head-Roc song, because I got a song that talked about whatever he was talking about. So so it was just a multimedia education and entertainment, experience that eventually got to the heights of where during the U.S. Social Forum, I think it was in 2007, the Green Party of the United States of America asked us to run for president and vice president of the United States of America. And that ended up with him. I chose not to be part of the running, but he went for the presidential nomination, and I was the campaign manager. We decided we was going to campaign whatever that Capital Resistance presentation that brought us to the attention of the Green Party leadership. We want to do that exact same thing as we campaigned around to organize Green Party folks to and educate Green Party folks as to why they should choose us as the nominee for president in the 2008 election that would bring Barack Obama to presidency. I will say, by the way, I also was reached out to by someone who worked on Barack Obama's campaign to write songs for him, and I turned it down. A little known fact: I turned down the opportunity to write songs for Barack Obama's 2008 presidential campaign, and the reason why I did it is because I was on radical politics. You know, I don't support the Democrats. You know, the way they operate. You know, and usually when I say that, so you're Republican? Come on, I like, come on, get out of that. I'm third party.
So yeah, you were talking about the pretty much the two-party system is like a two-headed hydra, is where you were
Yeah,
ending.
you know, it's I got my education on that. You know, both sides of the same coin, and so I couldn't participate, you know, in that. So so I was, you know, with the Green Party, you know, heavily for a number of years, and just as a matter of note, the presidential campaign that we put together, eventually folded into what will become the Cynthia McKinney presidential run, in 2008. So that actually happened at the house that I was staying in when Cynthia McKinney left the Democrat Party and signed on to the Green Party. So I have the distinction of being part of what transpired to make that happen.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that story. And yeah, your chemistry with Jared is, yeah, as a parent, it's cool to hear that, the backstory. So I
Thank you, man.
appreciate that. Wanted to know if you could talk more about, you're known as the mayor or the pariah of DC hip hop.
Thank you, thank you.
I was wondering if you could talk about your song about Marion Barry. It's on Mayor for Life. This is a great track.
Thank you, brother. You know, just continuing in the vein of education, about a civil rights icon who is much maligned and criticized, and people try to play out the Honorable Marion Shepard Barry from Innabena, Mississippi. How I came to write that song was because, you know, as I noted, you know, I had heavy involvement in the progressive movement, in particular, acting locally in DC's progressive movement. You know, there are a lot of players and movers and shakers in that. This is like the progressive capital of the country for real. In terms of headquartering and all that kind of stuff. You know, the grassroots organizations around we're very critical of Marion Barry. He suffered some indignities by the press, you know, by the media, for his personal life decisions. And growing up in Chocolate City, Washington, D.C., your nation's capital, is how I like to say it, you know, we idolize Marion Barry. And people don't understand why. They don't understand why we idolize Marion Barry. And when I say we Black folks, I idolize this Black man in the nation's capital. Why? Well, so that it could be fully understood why, or at least greatly understood why, or in large part understood why, I did my own research, and I wrote the song called Mayor for Life. And it's about Marion Barry and what he did that led to us revering this brother. And the song is called Mayor for Life because there was an incident that the news covered where I'm trying to remember it. I can't remember what it was. Some kind of conflict. Somebody had some kind of interaction with Marion Barry. They were trying to lessen him, you know, as a human being. And he reminded them that he said his response was, "I'm mayor for life." And the media jumped on that, and they criticized that he thought he was mayor for life. And like I said, we love Marion, but yeah, he is mayor for life to us. And so to back him up on that, I wrote the song Mayor for Life. And the hook is Mayor for Life to the death with every breath till there ain't none left. And it says you couldn't walk a mile in the God step. You couldn't do what Marion Barry did. And that's why he's mayor for life. His sacrifices for descendants of Africans enslaved in this country are legendary. Where he comes from, what he the song tells the tale. These are Mayor for Life. Google Mayor for Life. If you checking this out, Google Mayor for Life by Head-Roc and listen to it. There's 3 verses on there, and they go into somewhat great detail about his life from the beginning of his life to his adulthood, and so in that song is why I articulated why we love Marion Barry. So I wrote the song because the progressive circles that I were in, they also were, in my opinion, disrespectful to Marion Barry. They actually knew Marion Barry. Marion Barry was in the community, so a lot of organizations dealt with him one-on-one, and he's a very accessible person. And so in our private talks, I would hear people, talking smack about Marion Barry, and I didn't like it, and so I wrote that song to kind of let them have it a little bit. So and in doing so, it put some distance between myself and some of the people that I put them on notice on what side of the fence I was on.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, and we'll link to that in the show notes. The track is phenomenal.
Thank you. Shout out to the Bad Abbott. Bad Abbott is the one who did the track. It's on my Black Rockstar Superhero Street Tape LP.
Yeah, amazing album.
Thank you, brother.
One of my favorite things is internationalism, and I think that's something that really combats nationalism and keeps people working together, and we see solidarity around the world. And your song "Free Palestine" really shows that, and not only that, but you tie in the colonialism with it, genocide, indigenous struggle, and then we really saw this happen with the after the murder of Michael Brown, when Palestine was showing solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. I was wondering if you could talk about the song "Free Palestine" and just any feedback you've had from that and internationalism as a whole, or like hip hop around the world.
Yeah, Free Palestine. That's on the Negrophobia album. That song, comes about at the time. I was involved with my now ex-wife, who is of Palestinian descent, an Arab descent, and so in our relationship, at times I became aware of the issues and challenges that those people were going through, and I began to connect how Palestinians and other colonized people, the treatment of them, how it parallels with the treatment of folks here in the we here in the United States of America. Same dynamic. And so that's when I began to connect that, what we're dealing with, they're dealing with, and them over there dealing with, people who have been removed from their lands, their resources, being stripped away from them, and our fight to reclaim those resources, reclaim that land, to express ourselves, live in our heritage, express our culture, live in our heritage. We all dealing with the same thing. So that's the connection right there. That's when we come out of our silos, of oppression, and see that, oh, okay, so we're all dealing with this, and then that's the opportunity that gives us an opportunity to connect with one another, and begin to organize in such a way where we're working to have gains, in the world, where we all benefit from, and we can reclaim our culture and our heritage and stuff.
Well, thank you. Thanks for breaking that down.
Thank you, fam.
In your article, "TV is so whack," you write, "Another thing I abhor about today's TV programming is the co-opting of hip hop culture." Cutting to the chase, I don't see black and brown folks beatboxing, cutting and scratching, b-boying, or emceeing in the commercials anymore, do you? And you've been involved in hip hop for decades. I was wondering if you can talk about changes you've seen in it that are good and bad, things that you see promising in it, and advice you have for people involved in hip hop culture.
You know, fam, the thing about, hip hop culture has been colonized like North America has been colonized, like Palestine was colonized, like many other places were colonized. And I say that to say hip hop now in society is fetishized now, right? It's on its way to a museum, and museums are places where the conquerors place the conquered, for study and observation. So that's where hip hop is now, to me, in my opinion. That's where hip hop is today. Back then, for what you talking about, these are over a decade ago. These are some of these articles you're talking about, or a decade ago. At that time, I was putting out the clarion call to warn what was on the way, and now we're here, on the way. I could see that back then. I could see the beginnings of the infatuation with hip hop, and the infatuation comes when the machine realizes that it can make money off of it. That's when things change. Once the machine realizes it can make money off of it, it begins its assault. And that assault, comes in by way of reaching out to the natives and offering them gifts, in exchange for what's the word I'm looking for? For niceties and access. Offering them a stake of the pie, if you will. Offering them a glimpse at things that they before couldn't touch. So, when you were referencing, not seeing Black and brown folks in ads and videos, that's exactly what was happening. I hear what sounds like hip hop music, with looks like a hip hop vibe, but I don't see the people who got things going in the visuals no more. I don't see Black kids, brown kids breakdancing no more at the commercial level, for what they put out, distribute. I don't see that. I wasn't seeing that. That's what I should say back then. So that's what I was pointing out, in that article, to give a warning, if you will, of what I saw and what was on the way. Woke shit. Can you cuss on this thing?
Yeah, you can
shit.
cuss.
We the woke. Well, we the I don't want to cuss a lot, but we the woke people. You know what I mean? Woke stuff. So I think that answered you. Did that answer your question? And what else you asked me? You asked me. You said
I'm back in the house too.
I was asking, like, what advice do you have? Because you have so much experience in hip hop through different generations. What advice do you have for people that are getting involved or involved in hip hop culture now?
My advice is, let me say, here's what I tell people. You don't have any power unless you have political power. Right. This is what I've learned over these years. It's big. First of all, it's bigger than hip hop. Right. And then what I've learned is that you do not have power unless you have political power. And I learned that from my experiences, over the years, being a part of, progressive causes, people causes. You could be part of a great organization that's doing great work in the community, and being effective, having organized the community and marshaling people and even acquiring resources. What I learned is that while all that is great, on the other side of the fence, a political decision can undo all of that. A political decision. I've seen it happen.
Word.
And that happening is the cause of a lot of heartbreak of people in this progressive movement. There are a lot of heartbroken former colleagues, that I have, I myself included. I'm heartbroken over some of the things that I was a part of that no longer exist or no longer operate under the same steam as it once did. So my advice is, really pay attention to that and consider political involvement.
Right on.
A lot of folks shy away from politics. They think that's a bad. A lot of organizers and activists shy away from the word politics, as a bad word. I don't see it like that.
Right on.
Take advantage of the system as it exists. We put their democracy to the test. And actually that's what's going on in today's society now. All the Donald Trump backlash to the election of Obama, the continued backlash, the rise of MAGA, the continued backlash that's going on with Joe Biden in office. Joe Biden pissed off half of the European descendant population of America by putting so many Black and brown people in positions of authority.
Right.
That's what's going on now. This whatever folks say about Joe Biden, the leadership that's in place now in the country, what they did was they really made a substantial move towards this multiracial, multi-ethnic democracy. The other side, they fuming about it, because what's going on right now in society. I might be a little off of with the youth, but this is my advice to the youth to understand what's going on in society. Is there are people in this country who know that what's happening now is not the founding fathers' vision. The founding fathers never ever intended for myself, Suncere, and you, Chris, to be on a Zoom conversation talking about race.
How about that?
They never intended it. This is not what's happening in America is not the founding fathers' vision at all, not one bit. And there are an enormous part of the country, they are upset about that. And so much so that January 6th, 2020, they came to this city and climbed over the Capitol to try to stop it. That's what that was all about. Even Lincoln himself could never envision that a Barack Obama would be president, that Hakeem Jeffries would be the minority whip or whatever you call him in the House. And so we are in uncharted territory as it compares to what was prescribed for this place to be. And so, and with that said, nonetheless, what King say? Be true to what you said on paper. That's what's going on right now. That Constitution, it's the gift and the curse.
Yep.
That Constitution. Just honor what you said on paper. That is the problem. They trying not to honor that. But hats off to the progressive elements, who holding these cats accountable, and I am in 100% full support of that. The indictments of this cat, I'm in 100%. Go get them. Go get them all the king's horses and all the king's men. Go get them.
All the Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah, all of them. Well,
go get them.
Yeah, let's go get them.
January 6th, I laughed my ass off for 3 days. that was the most funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. Because now we no longer have to tell the world what type of clowns we dealing with. The uncle, the uncle, the crazy uncle escaped off the back porch and showed the whole world his hand when they did all that craziness. And people are like, well, how could they do that? Black people talking about, how could they do that? They could do that because this is their country.
It is their
This
country.
is their country. That's why they're able to get away with stuff like that. And they frying a few of them. They frying
They're
a
gonna
few.
fry them up. I'd say this to you. You know, I didn't laugh. This place, because it happened here. This America, I share with folks that it is a dangerous place.
Yeah.
In this country now. Because the covers are off. They don't have any qualms about being overt about it now. So that's what makes it dangerous. And like I said, I'm very serious about this. I'm a radical. I'm a radical. And I am in full support of the leadership. Go get them. I'm not here to make fun of them folks. The FBI, right. I want the FBI to go get them. It's very important, because if they don't, the alternative is bloodshed. And I'm not promoting no bloodshed. I'm a radical. I'm not that radical. I'm not in the, people dying. If we can get around that, then let's get around that. So I am in support of people who didn't see it before, and now they see it. I don't give them a hard time about it. And that's another thing I'm gonna use this time to share. Don't give the folks who wasn't, to all my radical friends, and the people, if people are coming around now to what you're talking about, don't be an asshole to them.
Right.
Support them.
Right.
In particular, as a Black person, I'm not giving white progressive people a hard time when I recognize that they want to do something to get involved. I'm gonna help them get involved.
That's cute. That's cute. That's cute. A part of my development as a revolutionary is, and I have that same philosophy, Hetty, that if a white person is trying, even though they might be making mistakes here and there, but if they're trying to change, it's not a waste of my time to help them with that change. Then I don't mind being a racial axe grinder, because you're not wasting my time. And, and I feel about like white guilt, get over it. Because it don't help nobody to sit up there and just feel guilty. Join the fight. Join the fight, because hey, it's a war against all. It's a war. It's a class war.
You gotta help them process that guilt. I don't tell people to get over shit. You gotta help them you gotta help them process that. That's compassion and empathy work both ways. We gotta have it. Right? Even though we've been blowing the trumpet, when they finally come around, you gotta check yourself. So that's my life philosophy helps me with that. At the end of the day, you see where I'm outside right now
with nature.
I'm in a park right now with nature. So this is
what park you at, Hetty?
The value of I'm over in North Brentwood, man. I'm in North Brentwood, Maryland. North Brentwood Park. North Brentwood is the second oldest incorporated Black town in Prince George's County, Maryland.
Never knew that.
I'm sitting over here in a little historic place next to the I don't know what I think they call it Paint Branch, is the creek that's on the other side.
Paint Branch. Okay. Yeah.
I think that's what it's called. No, Northwest Branch. That's what it's called.
Okay.
Northwest Branch. So my advice to the youngins, another thing is health. Our health is wealth. Another thing, one of my pet peeves with the progressive movement is that there are so many unhealthy people in our movement. And that has an effect on the attitude of our leadership. I've seen it, Health is wealth, fam. So while all this shit is going on, and we white supremacy, we fighting that, and racism, we fighting that, and predatory capitalism, we fighting that, the grass is still growing out the ground.
Right.
The trees, there's still trees around. The
Right.
bees are still flying. There's still ants. The force that flows through my body that allows me to hear this breeze that's coming over right now. You know, I can smell the fall air right now. My life philosophy, it helps me to be mindful. I'm into being mindful of that, where I appreciate my life, even with all this other shit going on around that I don't like, things that the stuff that I don't jive with. I don't let it take from my daily acknowledgments and thanks for the fact that I am alive, that I exist. The miracle of it's a miracle to be alive. It's against the odds to be alive. And in this moment, right now, what time is it right now? What time is it,
Chris?
What time is it?
It's 11:23 my time, but I think
Okay,
it's 1:23.
So at 1:23 Eastern Standard Time, 11:23. What you Mountain Time? 11:23 Mountain Time. This very moment, in this conference room with Son, Chris, myself, it's a miracle.
Right.
Every second of it is miraculous.
Right.
And that's where my satisfaction comes from. You know, I didn't grow up like this.
Right.
But my journey in music, coming in contact with different people, different cultures, different philosophies, you know, African, Asian, European, South America, North America, people, just people of varying walks of life and religions. I'm able to take the certain sample, if you will,
right,
the hip hop term, sample from these people, people who have loved me, people who have hated me, sample from them to put together what works for me that enables me to have a positive mental attitude. PMA, shout out to Bad Brains. A positive mental
brains.
A positive mental attitude, which keeps me in the energy of problem solving. There's a problem, and I want to solve it. I'm not the person who wants to burn everything down. I'm not that radical. There's some radicals out there I know. Some of my friends, they want to. I don't rock with. I'm not in that radical bunch. I'm the problem solver. Math was my academically was my strong suit. So there's an equation, there's a challenge, and we can rise to this challenge and solve these problems. And music and art expression is the vehicle that I ride in, to do that. So that's what I share with young people.
Where I feel what you're saying, and on my best day, I feel exactly the same way. That this life is precious. That we only get one shot to get it right, and then it all goes away. So what do you want to do while you're here? What do you want to do while you're here? I truly use, my activism and the things that I do also as a university to learn about people, but also to learn about myself and the frailties about myself and how certain things I got to get over. My ego and what I have accepted to be. Things ebb and flow and they change all the time. When I said get over it, the white guilt, there are some white folks, man, it paralyzes them into doing absolutely nothing. And maybe I was a little too aggressive when I said get over it, but I'm also willing to help you get through it.
My only other questions would be like, what are you working on right now?
No doubt.
Working on next.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about that.
Yeah, and where people can find you.
Well, you can find me at www.chocolatecityrocks.com. That you can find me there. You can get my clothing at www.blackrockstarsuperhero.com as well. I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram, Chocolate City Rocks, Black Rockstar Superhero, Head-Roc, Head_ROC. What am I into? You know, people ask me what I do, man. I hustle black love for a living. That's what I do. So I'm setting up, Chocolate City Rocks is doing programming. We have some marketplaces, reoccurring marketplaces in the area that I do. I do workshops, some hip hop writing workshops on occasion as well. Like I said, I'm consulting, doing entertainment consulting, talent agency. I'm doing that. I'm also working on some new material. I have quite a list of people who have asked me to do some cameo work. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and do that, and a couple other music projects, and then also into some video production, you know, as well, things that I'm working on. But you know, you can reach me info@chocolatecityrocks.com on the email. And chocolatecityrocks.com is my web address.
We definitely gonna have it in the link posted on the podcast. Man, I just want to close with this. I didn't want to leave home.
Okay.
But my destiny pushed me down another path. But with that said, one of the many bright lights was you, brother.
Oh, brother, thank you, brother.
And when I check in, you know, through social media and what you doing, you know, for the city, you know, not just musically, but like you say, politically. I left, you know, our city in good hands with you, brother.
Hey,
you
brother,
know,
I appreciate it, brother.
And I want to say I'm a Marion Barry baby. I love Marion Barry.
Yeah.
And I will vote for him now.
That's right.
Even though he's
That's
gone.
right. Mayor for life.
Chuck
He's
Brown
mayor for life.
And the Soul Searchers. I miss y'all too, man. I miss the whole go-go scene. You did.
Absolutely, brother. Hey, I wanna shout out something I didn't mention. I want to mention. I'm also, you know, one of the other moves that I made is that I sit on the board of a couple organizations. So I'm a board member of the it's called the Friends of Sumner Museum, 501c3 organization, and so we support the program, and it takes place at the Charles Sumner School Museum and Archives in downtown DC. History people know Charles Sumner. Shit, I think Charles Sumner. I think Charles Sumner actually is probably one of the top 5 Americans ever. European descent, Charles Sumner, senator from Massachusetts, a staunch abolitionist to the point where he actually got beat down in the Capitol by a fellow senator or representative or something like that. In the 1700s, beat within an inch of his life. His namesake, there's a school that was founded in 1872 with his namesake that served as the first majestically built school built for Black children in the nation's capital, and that we think throughout the country. And shout out to Executive Director Kimberly Springle, the work she does over there. It was started out as a school in 1984. Marion Barry designated it to be the museum for the DC public school system. The DC public school system, the DC public school system is chock full of Black excellence. A lot of the schools in DC, a lot of folks don't know, a lot of the schools in DC in the 60s, 50s and 60s were named after Black people. A ton of schools in DC. A large part of the school system is named after Black educators. Why? Because in this country, you know, imagine in the 1800s, in this country, there weren't many places to go to get educated. Education,
true that,
it was a premium. Public education didn't become a thing until the Africans were emancipated, and the first thing that we started going for was education.
Right. Is Dunbar one of those schools?
Yeah, Dunbar is part of the system.
Yeah, Dunbar, H.D. Woodson.
Every school in DC.
Yeah.
DCPS. Yep. H.D. Woodson. You know, their mascot was the Warriors. Their colors were red, black, and green.
Red, black, and green. Yep.
At H.D. Woodson. It was a very African-centered Afrocentric centered public school system in the nation's capital for from the 50s on up to now. You know, I wrote a song called DCPS is Under Attack, which is on one of my projects, the Empower DC project. So yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to, you know, shout out my colleagues on that board. And then I'm also an advisory board member for the DMV Music Alliance, which exists to advocate and bring together artists and venues, you know, to have a more, you know, vibrant and equitable music scene here, you know, in the DMV as well. So I want to shout those two organizations out that I'm a part of. You know, that's how I'm in. That's another way how I'm involved. You know, in the community, in the immediate community.
Hey man, I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. Hey, but what I wanted to tell you was also that funky music that you hear when you click on the People's Dinner Party podcast is the man himself.
Thank you. Yeah, man. Thank you for that,
Thank you so much for allowing me to use this music, man.
Oh, man. Thank you.
Funky and political. You know,
Bob Marley.
You're DC's version of Dead Prayers to me. You know,
you got the Bob Marley and lives in Amsterdam on that joint.
Oh man,
that's when I went to Amsterdam.
Oh, okay.
That was my first international tour. I went to Europe and I wrote on what I saw in Amsterdam.
Right.
How they were fetishizing Bob Marley.
Right.
You know, to sell marijuana, you know, and make money, which everyone does now. Weed is legal everywhere now. Shout out to Colorado.
True that. Hey, Heady man, DMV, thank y'all for coming to the People's Dinner Party. It means so much to me, man, to have you here. I love you. Thank you for taking the time. HL12, I said what's up.
Allowed them to be so inclined to send ships with guns, filled with men with swords, so filled with the love of the Lord that they do whatever's necessary for their position. Death is the decision when they on a mission. Death is the decision when they on a mission. What we talking about? Imperialism. Death is the decision when they on a mission. What we talking about? Yeah. Now every second Monday in October we hold a celebration for a Western soldier who brought over a culture manifestly destined to rule and take over. Funny how in the name of Jehovah you supposed to be the landowner more so than the first holder. Ask the natives in Plymouth about the caravan next to the boulder. From what they told ya in high school about righteous conquest and brave.